We're here with Lenny Matthews at the wake of Mr. Hal Jackson, who just recently passed away. What are your memories of Mr. Jackson?
Well, I met Mr. Jackson through Naomi Shaw, the late Naomi Shaw, and her daughter Nadine, because Nadine was involved with the Talented Teens. That was back in 1981, 82. I met him. He did a couple of shows. He did a couple of LMS shows for us too. Oh, I just loved it. He was so full of pep, vibrant, and everything. You know, I just loved him.
What are some of the positive contributions that he made to the teenagers with the Hal Jackson Talented Teen? What was that all about?
Oh, he wanted to give young ladies a break, and not just only in singing and talent. You know, the discipline, how to develop yourself. And many of them, they may not become fantastic singers, but also too they went into other professions. Like some of them became judges and lawyers and teachers and dance, you know, dancers in production companies. Mr. Jackson guided them, and he did it all.
What was your most memorable moment with Ms. Haynes in terms of the talent that you used to show on the show? You remember some of the talents?
Yes, just met a young lady a few minutes ago, Cheryl Davis. She was 2003 Talented Teens. Now she's working. She's working now. She's a mom. It's so, you know. I grew up. I'm gonna tell you, I grew up on this pageant, baby. The others, I love them. They're sweethearts, everything like that. But they fold up like a tent, and that's like a carnival tent, and they left town. Mr. Jackson has had a foundation, and I enjoyed having them come on the shows many times.
What was his age, Mr. Matthews? How old was he when he passed?
Mr. Jackson passed at 97, to my knowledge.
Okay. Where was he from originally?
Mr. Jackson was originally from Charleston, South Carolina. He went to Howard University in Washington, D.C.
So he had a degree. You have to look that up.
We had to look that up, but but Mr. Jackson was quite a man. I always remember the most memorable time is that when he mentioned that working at a TV station, not working at a radio station, and they said no ends are not going to be working at this station, and this is back in the 30s or so. And he said, okay. He went on there, got a bunch of sponsors, and the sponsors came back and they bought the time, and he was on the air. He was a sportscaster, a talk show host. He made a lot of firsts, and he led the way for a lot of young black men and women. In fact, we see some of the people. I see some of them here who worked at the station at one time.
So he was a radio broadcasting owner? What was he specifically? Was he into radio broadcasting?
Later on, he went into ownership of one of the ownerships in radio broadcasting, inner city broadcasting.
What were some of the stations he had?
Well, it was BLS, and the only one I remember was BLS and LIB.
He didn't have NJR in New Jersey?
No, he worked there.
Okay. So he paid his dues?
Oh, did he pay his dues? Tremendously. He paid his dues.
Keep going.
I remember he had a broadcast from this Museum of Broadcasting on 52nd Street between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. And we went up there. I had such a good time. Sunday morning classic. He had a lot of stars and him and Clayberry and Debbie B and everybody. I had such a good time. Hello. How you doing, my brother? Oh, it's like a homecoming, but his memory will always live on with me. I learned a lot. One thing I learned from Hal Jackson, community came first. If you don't be concerned about your community, but also so you don't concern about people in any community. You as a person are not going to last too long. Period.
The LMS show.
Yes.
This is Lenny Matthews. We're doing the LMS Extra right at the Frank Campbell Funeral Home for the last homecoming coming from Mr. Hal Jackson. And I have a gentleman like to say something about Hal Jackson. What's your name?
Well, my name is Neil Blyden, and I just got off the plane from the British Virgin Islands to one of Hal's most favorite spots. In the last 20 years since I've been back, he's been there at least 7 or 8 times. He just was there recently off a cruise ship, spent a lot of time, and even had a talented teen pageant there.
Yes.
The whole of the Virgin Islands. I mean, he had, in 1987 when I was at the Apollo in production and the technical director, we did, I think it was New Edition in 87 in St. Thomas, and that's when I found out that early 70s, Hal was one of the investors in Channel 8 TV in St. Croix. Okay. So he's always been there. I mean, him and Debbie got married there in 87 when we were there. But, you know, I grew up here in New York. I part of the whole BLS growing up family. When LIB was in Harlem, Hal would be in his studio, and I would be, you know, with other people that I knew, but I never thought I'd become so close to him. And we become so close as a family.
What kind of person was he?
Oh, the most giving, loving person you've ever found. I mean, for a person, this music industry is a very tough industry. I will say, you know, I came from the Virgin Islands. I lived in the Bronx and Harlem, and thank God, you know, to where I am today. I own my own radio station. I own the theater. A 5-screen cinema in the Caribbean, using what I learned from Hal and all of the people here. I used to be with Frankie in the late 70s. Yes. So to have a guy, I remember when we were doing the show at the Apollo, and there were people questioning what I was doing, and he came up and said, he knows what he's doing, he's done it. Let him do what he does. And people don't do that. You know, people don't do that. They all question you, and you know, Hal has always been there. When he comes to the door, Neil, I'm here. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home, Neil. You know, so he's going home now, and I've come to say goodbye.
I would like to thank you so much.
No problem. It's for Hal, you know.
For Hal.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Memories of Hal Jackson. I could not be amiss until this young lady gave an interview. What is your name, my friend?
My name is Cheryl Davis. I'm Miss New York 2003, Hal Jackson Talented Teens.
Now, I remember, this Hal Jackson Talented Teens. Let me tell you about Hal Jackson Talented Teens. As I said before, I'm not knocking other pageants out. I love other pageants, though. I'm not saying they fought up a cheap Cameron and they leave town. But I made so many friends there. And you are my friend. You was counted as my friend. One year you didn't place one year. You still went up there and did it, right? Tell us about that.
The first year, when I was 13 years old, first time I ever did a competition, I participated in the Hal Jackson Talented Teens, and I didn't place at all. And then the following year, I came back and did the exact same song, the same way. I just didn't give up hope because the experience was just great for me. Meeting new people, making new friends, and the whole experience about my confidence was built with being in the competition overall. So I did came back and gave it my all and actually placed as the queen. And that was the first time actually I went across seas, went to the Virgin Islands, and I had a fantastic time.
We went to the British Virgin Islands or
the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas.
Okay. How was that? What was that experience over there? Working with Mr. Jackson and all the young ladies over there.
It was amazing. I actually got to speak on the radio on the WBLS morning show one Sunday when we left out for New York, and he just made me feel at home, and I was so nervous over the radio more so than over in front of in front of people in the audience. And he was just like, it's just like being in the audience without them seeing you, and made me feel just at home. And it was a great experience on the radio as it was in the competition overall.
You went to, if we went from high school, you went to a college. What college did you go to?
Morgan State University.
Morgan State.
Yes.
Where did you major in?
I majored in psychology with a minor in sociology.
Did the talented teens help you out in some sense? I mean, as far as discipline and everything?
Discipline and very great with interpersonal skills, as in talking to people and just opening up and not being shy and hiding behind your talents and just expressing them.
You know, we still run your tape every once in a while. we really love you. What are you doing today?
Right now, I'm still singing anything I can, just at weddings, birthday parties, or even just showing my face from people who remember me actually from the talented teens. And actually, right now I'm working. I'm actually a manager at Bliss Spa. So,
Okay, all right.
and I just
You're the manager.
Yes.
How's being a manager? Well, you know, the Mr. Jackson taught you what being a manager. You had to have skills too, right?
very
In what way?
people skills. You have to be very good with people, talking to people and managing them with their problems or just making them calm within the spa experience.
How about with the workers? You have workers too, right?
I do.
And you had those in-person skills helped out working with your workers?
Very much so. With the different people I've met over the years from talented teens, it's just allowed me to help, down from cultural experiences, and it just helps me speak to all people from all backgrounds
With Mr.
without
Jackson,
judgment.
with Mr. Jackson's passing, what did he teach you? What was what memory you have of Mr. Jackson?
The memory I have from Mr. Jackson is just to love all people from different types of backgrounds, from the states that we've met, people from different talented teens competitions from different countries. I've had the opportunity to meet many people of different ages, of the same ages. We're all the same people, but just different faces.
Yeah, and sometimes different shades too, right?
Mhm.
Everybody is the same. And I remember Ray Stevens, I don't want to get in trouble, no copyright free, and everybody's beautiful in their own way, right?
Yes, and everybody has their own talent.
Working with Debbie, what was your experience working with Debbie Jackson? They're quite a team, you know that?
They are.
In what way were they quite a team?
She was just the female version of Hal Jackson.
Oh.
She just understood women and us growing up as ladies, so
Yeah.
she was very a good helping hand, a hand-in-hand situation. It's a team.
I would like to thank you so much. And if you're available, why don't you come and sing for us? And Miss Hayes, contact sing for us one day if you're available, okay?
Well, I'll be
will
actually
have
at the Juneteenth Harlem celebration on the 16th, so I'll be there.
Oh, you'll be there? Okay, all right. So
And we'll have a little reminisce of the years back in 2003. Same song.
You know, there's a gentleman, this is going way back, Fred Barr used to say, I'll be looking for you, Ma, right out front. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you again.
Nice seeing you too. And this is Lenny Matthews, and we're from the Frank Campbell Funeral Home for the final homecoming. But then again, so many memories of a gentleman who I really admired, Hal Jackson. And we'll be right back.